Blair. I needed to use Wi-Fi. This is James Blair. I'm en route to Germany with the Secretary of State, so I'm midair.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate you taking the time.
I'm sorry I couldn't get to you sooner. I've been jam-packed this week with work. It's been a little crazy. So
That's okay. I understand. Well, hey, I just wanted to talk to you for, a few minutes. I sort of, I've kind of gathered, a little bit about you. I've sort of heard from, I guess, folks that talk to you about getting in the race and that kind of stuff. So I'm a little more up to speed now, which is good and helpful. I feel like I have more color now of sort of how we got here. And I talked to Steve, and he said lots of nice things about you, and I sort of told him I'd be happy to give you a call and just chat with you. And he sort of made a basic pitch that the president should switch to supporting you or something. And I don't know, I just wanted to talk through the race dynamics with you, sort of see what you're thinking, and then maybe share my perspective and sort of our perspective with you too, if that's okay. I don't know.
Sure.
So look, I think that, and I told him this, like, pragmatically, politically, I think two people with the same last name, first one on the ballot, is a challenge. I think that gives the edge to Greg Goode to win, which is, that's doesn't help my purposes, obviously, and you and I have different purposes, and Steve, obviously, has, his purpose. But, there's sort of two things. I wanted to talk to you first just because, and sort of out of deference to you and Steve, I'm happy to, float the idea of switching support or something, tonight, but it's a lot to pull off on a short time frame. I think that we sort of got to make a decision, based on your name being on the ballot or not. In other words, I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to have everybody qualify and then, well, maybe we'll switch support later or something. I just think that, if that were even an option, we'd have to figure that out tonight. And I think that'll be tough. The president sort of changing horses midstream is tough. And I told Steve that. I think he understands that. And I got to take a lot on a leap of faith to even try to persuade that if we think it's a good idea. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just sort of being realistic about the timeline that, it's challenging. I wish they'd called us a couple of weeks ago and whatever, but it is what it is, I guess. But as I explained to Steve, like, if we go the three-way and there is no change, I think this is going to be a really nasty race, candidly. It's not something that I can just control. There's the entire national, sort of country looking at this. A lot of grassroots frustration, not just in Indiana, but around the country. Lots of groups that we don't control. We didn't control all the groups during the redistricting process. I wish we could, would make things easier. And so, I don't know, I just wanted to talk about that brass tacks reality that I think is going to be really ugly. And I think, we're sort of working at cross purposes with two people with the same last name on the ballot that benefits neither of our goals. So I don't know if you thought through any of that or just how you see all that. I'd love to hear your perspective.
I'm a realistic person. I obviously knew what this was going to be. To be honest with you, I know probably on a personal level more about Brenda than you guys do. So when it comes to that standpoint, I knew what I was stepping into. If it does come down to that, I don't have any interest in, doing any trash talking towards anybody else during the campaign. I'm not going to run my basis off of that. I'm running it off of the interest of everyone around here. So, I'm really not worried if it gets nasty. It's not something that I'm not worried about losing. Should I lose? I think for me, it's more about doing what is right and what is best for the voters in our area.
I respect that. I understand that. But I guess I would say if we both lose and Greg just keeps going, is that a better outcome, a worse outcome, or is that just sort of a neutral outcome? Or
Well,
does
I
it
mean,
matter?
with what's came out today on you know, the schooling issue here, which is a major issue, and they
Yep, I
came out,
understand that.
yeah, with the cost of all that, I don't see Greg winning because, you know, it's going to be a major problem here. It is. What he put in place with county dollars going towards school corporation, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I understand that. I definitely see how intense it is, and I read the article from today.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in other words, you obviously feel pretty strong because of the difference on the school issue that you'll win a three-way race?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, just because of what, you know, I bring to the table, and one of those being not raising our tax dollars, you know, to support something like that.
Yeah, understood. Well, you know, look, I mean, it kind of sounds like you feel you're sort of going to win no matter what in a three-way. So if that's the case, I guess there's really nothing more for me to say about a three-way, and just discuss the reality of a two-way or the possibility of a two-way. And in that case, I mean, obviously the first question I sort of have to ask, even speak to the president, is where did you stand on redistricting? Where do you stand on redistricting? Where do you stand with the president? You know, just don't know those things. So maybe you could.
I support the president.
Give me your thoughts.
You know, I definitely support the president. Always have. So.
And redistricting.
I am not opposed to it by any means. I get why, and I'm not opposed to it.
If it came up again, do you think you'd vote for it?
I believe so. Yeah, if that's what, you know, the president is asking and needs, yes, I will.
I mean, he asked everybody like very clearly, and there's a bunch of people that sort of told him to pound sand. So that really, I mean, just at the brass tacks, that is his sort of core number one question. He doesn't ask a whole lot. I mean, that was sort of the point we made to these guys who don't ask you for anything. Actually, we're asking you for one single thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was.
I understand that's a major issue when it comes to Greg, and you know, I get it. I understand it. So.
Okay. And I mean, if the president wanted you to stand down in this race and, you know, see if there's something else that we could be helpful with, is that.
I'll be honest with you.
I mean, you wouldn't entertain.
From what I got entertained with so far, I'm not sure that there's anything that you could bring.
Well, I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you. I know some members of my lower level staff have talked to you. I've heard other people have talked to you.
I've gotten boards and commissions brought up. I've gotten a state admin job where I would be making a fraction of what I make. And to be honest with you, no job security there. It's not something that, and my husband and I spoke about it. I'm pregnant, and it's not something, a change like that is not something I'm interested in, starting a new career like that. So
is there something you are interested in, or that means you're not interested in anything?
No, I'm much more interested in the Senate position and the reasoning as to why I would like to be involved. So.
Okay. So I take it if he did ask you to stand down in the race, you wouldn't. Which is okay. I'm just trying
yes,
to.
I don't want to be
disrespectful
disrespectful to the president. I don't think that there's a full grasp of what is going on in this district and how important it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do understand the school issue, but I mean, everybody told us there was not a grasp on how important redistricting was. And we were told we didn't have a grasp on whether or not we could really win the congressional seats. And that's not meant to besmirch you. It's just, we've been told for 6 or 7 months we don't have a grasp, including on the things that we know, like how to win congressional districts and what the numbers say. We were told we didn't have a grasp. So, I mean, you understand that. You understand what it's like for us to be on the other side of that coin, probably. Okay. And how do you, I mean, as a candidate, I've had really no time to research your background, but I've got a little bit, obviously, the quick things I could find. And, obviously, when I have to talk to the president about supporting a candidate, he says, well, what are they going to hit her on? What's the story, right? And so you've been arrested once. Your husband was arrested a few years ago. Yours was a long time ago. How do you explain those to the public? How do you sort of deal with that? Because, of course, you'll get attacked on that.
I'm not worried about that. I mean, the history there is explainable, and they either understand or they don't. It's not really something that I'm worried about. So it's not an issue for me. I have no issue with being completely honest and people approaching me and handling the situation.
Could you explain it to me like you'd explain it to the voters, so I can explain that back and sort of say this is how she would handle it?
I mean, I could, yes. So, my one time of ever being in trouble, I don't think it's going to come up. I don't.
It'll come up. I mean, Greg Goode is definitely playing for keeps. And it'll for sure come up.
Okay.
I mean, I know this because this is already being said about you in the national press. I've already gotten calls from national press reporters saying, do you know about the criminal background here? They're already doing it. That's how I even found out about it.
And what is the criminal background that they have? Because I've also been told that I filed 2 bankruptcies that I did not file.
I don't know what the criminal background they have is. What I have seen is a felony arrest pled down to a misdemeanor in like 2010 for resisting arrest.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
No, that is correct. I was a child. I made a mistake.
Oh yeah, it was a long time ago. 100%.
Right after my mother passed away. Suddenly, I made a poor choice. I made a poor mistake that has obviously never happened again and never would happen again. It's not an excuse, but I made a mistake, and everybody makes mistakes. I have been a law-abiding, citizen since then. And it's not something that I'm worried about. If someone was to approach me and talk to me about it, I have no issue having a discussion.
That's great. I mean, obviously, just owning it, I think, is good politically. And these are, just to be clear, it's not meant to offend you. It's just pure political questions. I mean, the president, he's a political guy. He's won presidential races. So these are sort of the basic things we go through. I think it'll definitely come up, and I think that they're going to run television ads on it. I think they're going to run mail pieces on it. They're going to tell every voter in the district about this kind of stuff because they don't have to tell your side of the story. They will tell the side of the story they want people to hear.
I have no problem telling my side of the story. To be honest with you, I for some reason, I didn't think about that being an issue. I should have. Back then I was such a mess with my mom passing away, and I didn't have my father here. I had no support. I was on my own, and I made a poor choice, and so.
Yeah. Well, can you put together resources to get your message out? Because I know Rod Bray is going to spend millions of dollars to defend these guys.
Yeah. I have no problem with that.
Like, you think you'll be able to sort of fundraise and that kind of thing? Because, I mean, there will
100%. I have support. I have no problem with taking this on and doing what I need to do. So.
Any sense of how much you can raise?
No, I do not.
So I think they've got $1 million a district at least earmarked, from what I hear, if not more.
Okay.
And
I think I could do enough to combat that. So.
And what about your husband's DUI a few years back? How do you handle that?
I'll handle that if that comes up. No, he does not drink. He's not married to that person that put him in that place anymore. And no, he does not drink anymore. So
that's great.
That would never be an issue. It would never be a problem. So, and you know, my husband's not the one running, and he wouldn't be the one in the seat. So.
I know, I understand that. I just look. I mean,
I know you have a job to do. I get it.
I know how campaigns go. I mean, I do this for a living. I do this.
They get ugly, and if I thought that there was something that I couldn't handle, I wouldn't be involved in it in the first place.
Yep, and they'll work to assassinate your character and everything else.
There's not a person that could do that. That the people that know me and support me for a reason, and I'm not worried about that. So
yeah, I have no doubt that you have good answers and can defend yourself. You're obviously an honest person. I mean, that's the practical question on top of that is, how do you tell enough voters so they find out? I mean, he'll probably overwhelm me with money. I mean, that's just the reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's got to be a way to counteract that. And I don't know. I mean, I know you don't know what you could raise, but it's hard. I mean, it's hard when people have done it before. It's hard when people haven't done it before. So I just asking to sort of see, how much you've thought through that. I don't know. Do you have a campaign team? Do you have an organization in place, or kind of where are you with that?
I have the support of the GOP chairman, so you know I've got plenty of guidance and assistance in that aspect.
Yeah, he has nice things to say about you, for sure. Yep. Okay, well, what else should I know, if anything, before I go sort of see if there's, any kind of ability to consider a course change on a short window overnight? Anything else I should know?
I would say that I think that with lack of, I don't want to cause any issues here, but I do think that the endorsement towards Brenda was a mistake, and I told Matt that last night. There's stuff here locally that I'm sure you guys don't know and aren't involved in, but I plan on winning this, and I plan on winning this for many, many reasons, and I will be talking to the people as to why. And I think that I will have the support of quite a few people when they get to know me better, the ones that don't know me. So,
yeah,
I plan on winning. I didn't do this for, my own benefit. I didn't do it for.
You said you're pregnant.
I am.
Congratulations. First of all, my wife's pregnant too.
Yeah, that's one thing too. It's like I wanted to get involved. The schooling issue is a major concern of mine. My daughter will be going to school here.
Is it your first?
It is. It is.
Well, you must feel good if you're going to get out on the campaign trail. So
I
that means
do.
you're in
Actually,
good
I
seconds.
really can't complain. I've not had any back pain, rib cage pain, but other than that,
Well,
it's been pretty smooth sailing.
I
So,
hope that lasts till the end. Good luck.
thank you.
Okay.
And
well,
that's not, obviously I thought about that. That's not something I'm worried about. I'm due mid-May. So,
oh wow, that is quite the timeline.
it is
Right.
very much so.
Maybe. Well, I hope
I'm
you're
ready
not
to
early.
I'm ready to take that on.
You're a strong woman, clearly.
Thank you. Yeah. Very much so. Yes.
Okay.
Strong-willed,
look,
strong-headed.
I see that. That comes through loud and clear. Loud and clear. Look, I don't know. Just candidly, obviously, I don't know. It's not a small thing to walk in and see the president and say, "Sir, this person we just met, she has the same last name. You know,
I
she's probably gonna
understand.
split the vote,
And I do
we don't know
apologize,
her.
the position I put you guys in.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if we'll be able to go for that on the short of schedule to get a name removed, by tomorrow or something. That's so I don't know. I don't exactly know what happens next, but I know what the next conversation I have to have is, and it will not be an easy one. And we'll see where things stand. And the chips were forward. They may, I guess, after that, but no point speculating without having the next conversation.
Okay.
All right.
well,
Can I reach you back tonight if I need to?
Always welcome to call whatever time it is. Let me know. That's fine.
Okay. I'll try to call you back. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay.